GLP-1s is exactly what they were giving diabetics to help control their diabetes. The side effect of that was they're losing weight. Did they stop becoming a diabetic because the medicine was stopping them from becoming a diabetic, or because they lost the weight? They finally realized that, it's really because they lost the weight. Corporations are interested in making money. And just like you're going to have a lot of these people that take these medications just blindly, and they're going to look like Skeletor because all they're interested in is losing weight. And I've seen that with the bone density, mass loss, the muscle loss, especially in women. But I then turn around and point the finger strongly at that practitioner who issued them that prescription to get these drugs without monitoring their bone density and their muscle loss or gain. Fen-Phen was stripping fat off of people faster than you can blink, but it was also killing people because, you're going to be lesser because you're going to lose a lot less body. But as I've said in the past, there's ways you can combat that. Like they're taking creatine. You should still be prioritizing eating your protein. You continue to do that, you'll lose tremendously less muscle as you're continuing to lose body fat.
Podcast twins, we're back in the twin cave, Vince.
Yeah, man, sometimes you got to go on the road, but it's always great coming back home. So, hey, before we even get started today, I want to thank all of our subscribers that have already taken the time to subscribe. But we also noticed that there's a lot more people that view our show that have not subscribed. So if you could just do us a favor, reach down and click that little red subscribe button. It's the one thing you can do to help us out, and it'll cost you absolutely nothing but 2 seconds of your time. So please, go on YouTube, click that little subscribe button. Follow us on Facebook and all the other social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram. We are out here to try to bring you the best content that we can. And with that being said,
well, I'm going all in against GLP-1s today to follow up our other one.
Okay.
I got some information on GLP-3s, which is the peptide version of the semaglutide, and also some other peptide questions for you, big brother.
Shoot.
Before I do it,
okay,
you can get all of what Vince told you on podcasttwins.com and frequent our sponsors. They're good companies and they're doing a lot of great things and they've got awesome products.
They do.
So,
I'm having one right now.
That all being said, so let's start with the GLPs.
Okay, shoot.
Are we actually solving obesity or are we just avoiding discipline?
Oh, that's easy. That's an avoiding discipline issue all day, but that's not even an arguable thing. But I will say this. That answer in today's world is age appropriate.
Okay.
So I will say, like I just met a young man recently. He was 20. He had just turned 25 years old. He had already been taking it. I'm like, dude, that's the discipline issue. I don't really like to see anybody under 45 or 50 that really that if they're going to take it. That's when I'd prefer to see people jumping over the bridge and saying hell, because at that point we're reaching that stage of I need to get this weight off to save my life. As opposed to being a youngster that's just saying, you know what, let me get up off my sorry ass and get moving.
So then pharmaceutical shortcuts to turn us into lesser men is okay with you then?
It all depends because you're going to be lesser because you're going to lose a lot less body. But as I've said in the past, there's ways you can combat that. Like you still should be taking creatine. You should still be prioritizing eating your protein. You continue to do that, you'll lose tremendously less body fat. Less body muscle as you're continuing to lose body fat. So, same thing, especially that doubles for women. So, but go ahead.
So then we've got the largest experimental weight loss in the history of weight loss going on right now.
Yep.
So what about 10, 20,
I don't know about
30
it.
years
I don't know about that because we had the big experimental one about 25 years ago called Fen-Phen. Fen-Phen was stripping fat off of people faster than you can blink, but it was also killing people. So, I was just going to ask you, how'd that turn out? They had to pull that one off the market. So my point is that in this country, the moment after World War II, as we became a nation of extra, where our portions have gotten larger, our everything has gotten larger, and as well as our waistlines have gotten larger. But from that point now, the weight loss industry has become huge. Think about it in the 80s, man. You turn on the commercials, turn on TV, Jane Fonda and everybody else on there doing all of these aerobicized commercials. It was a problem. It has been a problem since the early 80s.
Okay, fair enough. But I mean, out of all the people over 45,
okay,
what percentage are taking some sort of peptide? For me, it's got to be like half.
No, not as much for me. I would say I would like to see that percentage go up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want the experiment to be bigger.
I want them to get the poundage off their ass.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But it's not just the weight. It's not just retatrutide for peptides, right? It's BPC. It's all. I mean, there's one for hair, skin, and nails.
Absolutely.
I heard. But I mean, there's something for everything. But are we just basically saying, okay, it's okay to be dependent on drugs?
Yeah. We're talking what should happen versus where we are. Where we are says, hell yeah, you're going to be dependent on drugs. But at the same time, I tell you this, when I just had my rotator cuff and bicep surgery, I was expected to be off the fire truck for 6 months to a year. Rotator cuffs are historically slow to heal. I was off the truck for approximately 3.5 months, maybe 4.
Well, but that's the difference between a short-term solution versus a long-term solution, right? Like you were using it to recover. Like I took steroids one time to recover from an awful cold that put me in the urgent care when I was in college, and like it worked. It worked really well.
Testosterone helped that?
But I don't know what it was. It was just they were like, hey, you feel terrible. You're white as a ghost.
Yeah. No,
we're going to give you a steroid
that's a corticosteroid. That's a whole different steroid.
Okay.
You didn't take an anabolic steroid.
No, not that I'm aware of.
No.
But I went from feeling like death to feeling like Superman in an hour.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, they remember all of this stuff was derived as medication to help.
Sure.
And then you find other usages, like aspirin, wasn't his original intention. And definitely everybody knows the Viagra story wasn't the original intention. So, once you find that.
It was a blood pressure medicine.
It was a blood pressure medication. Right? Yeah. As it lowered the blood pressure, it raised up that good pipe. And next thing you know, everybody's like, oh my God, old man is back to life. Wake up, Ruth.
Okay.
Big Papa's coming home.
Okay.
And he was dropping the hammer. I mean, so, but at the same time, too, in my business, I've seen people overdose on it.
Oh, boy.
Hey, listen, man, I'm just going to put it like this.
Here we go.
If you do CPR on the 78-year-old man that has had too much Viagra, what when you pump on the chest, what? You're circulating
you're
blood.
Moving blood, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you can imagine.
It's an awkward situation.
You can imagine what happened after that. It was hilarious and sad at the same time.
Well, but then if you lose 50 pounds,
yes,
but you sacrifice a bunch of muscle, are you now actually healthier, or did you do more harm than good?
So whose fault is that?
But it's always going to come down to the individual, right? It's always going to come down to the individual. Because you made the choice to put that in your body by yourself in your own home, and not do the other things that you needed to do.
You got prescribed this by a physician, unless even the peptides are being prescribed by a physician these days, regular peptides. But you had a physician that gave you this medication, and they told you absolutely nothing about how to take it other than stick it in your belly and follow the process. Let me know if you get nauseous. As a matter of fact, if you get nauseous, we're going to go ahead and give you another medication
to make you not nauseous.
To make you not nauseous. So as opposed to educating them on how to take it properly, where it can have a better long-term effect and lower the risk of you having the snapback effect of you losing 50 pounds and you snap back and you gain 60. that happens because people are just losing body mass.
We talk all the time about don't be dependent on medications, right? You said it in our
Yes.
carnivore feast. We
Yes.
want you to have no medicine in your medicine
Right.
cabinet. So this is just making people pharmaceutically dependent for the rest of their lives.
So in that regard, and I'll be specific.
Please.
What I was saying is I'm talking to the traditional blood pressure medication, the traditional diabetes medication, those type of deals. Supplementation will always exist in my world.
All right.
Supplementation will always exist. Do they need to? Probably not, but they will. And so I have graduated to putting the peptides in the supplement category for me.
Okay.
But we are smart enough to know that it is a drug. It is, because as a matter of fact, GLP-1s is exactly what they were giving diabetics to help control their diabetes. Then the side effect of that was, oh my God, they're losing weight. Now, did they stop becoming a diabetic because the medicine was stopping them from becoming a diabetic, or because they lost the weight? They finally realized that, yeah, it's really because they lost the weight. They weren't jamming 88 pounds of food in their stomach every day.
Okay.
So it was the medication that was causing the weight loss, which caused them to no longer be insulin dependent diabetic.
Podcast twins, and today we're getting healthier with Purium products, Vince.
Man, let me tell you something. I've been on this product for about a month right now, and I'm going to tell you, I'm really picky about the type of products that I like to put in my body. You know that. And when you read the ingredients on here, nothing makes you feel better than knowing that you're putting actual premium products in your body.
No glyphosate, all organic. It's been tested to the 1,000,000th degree, and the amino acids are the bomb.
Everything. I'm telling you, the whole formula, the nighttime formula, the biome, everything. I feel amazing taking these products. So I definitely recommend it.
If you want to keep getting healthier like we are, just click the link below. You'll get a discount on your first order, and you'll thank us later.
Peace.
So you touched on a specific subject there, which is when you talk about supplements, we also talk about how a bunch of them are bullshit.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about peptides, it's the Wild West right now.
It
so
is.
A bunch of them are probably bullshit.
Yeah, and there's a lot of independent people, a lot of independent doctors that are out there, alternative doctors.
Well, you could buy them online. You don't even need a doctor.
Again, you can. So that means I can go and create it and put it out there online, because none of it has been FDA approved, which FDA means absolutely nothing to me. But my point is they are in phase 3 trials right now for a lot of these peptides.
Yeah, so TikTok and Instagram are now medical school.
Yeah. I mean, you can really go out there and get it done. But again, like, I got 2 of my friends that their whole medical practice is learning, studying, and using and prescribing peptides.
Okay. So why can't we just get these people on carnivore or keto and say forget it to that shit?
You could. But again, it's personal, it's people's choice. I went out this weekend.
Or take Purium.
Well, Purium products, because again, that is a natural product, and we've discussed that. That's why we have agreed to partner with them.
Of course.
In that regard. So, I mean, I can agree with that, but it has to go with whatever fits a person's lifestyle. And now, if you're willing to change your lifestyle, that's a whole different ballgame. But I'm telling you, it takes a lot for you to absolutely make that determination that I'm changing my lifestyle right now, no matter what.
Well, I mean, it was a great way for the pharmaceutical industry to go from, hey, look, we don't want your COVID shots because we're not sure of the long-term effects, to here, just inject yourself. And it's probably got some of the same crap that we've tried to avoid with the COVID shots.
There's no telling.
Okay.
There's no telling.
Because we don't know what's in it, right?
We don't
I'd say 95% of people taking it have no idea what's in that injection.
We don't know what's in there. I mean, because we actually have no way to test it ourselves. Hopefully, if you're using peptides for any particular reason, hopefully you're at least getting them from the doctors that are working with these, on the research companies that are getting the proper stuff, not just ordering them off an online situation that's just coming out of the blue. Hopefully that's what you're doing. I don't even do that anymore with supplements. I don't, again, that's why my supplement content has come way down from back in the 90s when my closets would just be full of supplements all day, all night.
Okay.
Begin, I was just realizing that I would buy it because it tastes good or whatever to get delivered to my house. And next thing you know, I use a third of it and it sits on the shelf.
Okay.
Because either I didn't feel any effects of it or it was just extra. So I realized I was just spending thousands of dollars a year in supplements that are still modeling on my shelf. Well, not still, but back then. So I went down and cut down to what worked, which back then was creatine, glutamine, that and maybe a protein shake that I use as a meal replacement. That had literally been all that's in my closet.
Well, I've been introduced by referral from some of the people that I know well, clients, my networking group, people that have a peptide company.
Okay.
Right? Because there's a gold rush happening in
yeah.
peptide. Whether you wanna say they suck or they're great or it's somewhere in between, there's money being made.
Mm-hmm.
Probably gonna be in the billions.
Mm-hmm.
Just like every other drug. So at what point do we say, okay, well, we're just turning humans into subscribers, basically? Or are we there already?
Yeah. Well, see, okay. So we can relate this to what was the driving force of the need for crypto? Because people were having a lack of trust in what was going on here in the dollar.
Okay.
So we're going to create a completely a new
form, fiat currency.
Yes, that we can now trust. The few of us, we're going to now trust it, because even with that, what happens? Corruption sneaks its way in. So you're always going to have that. You're always going to have greed over everything. So
well, we know we don't want to cure anything, because if you cure something, you don't have a lifelong customer anymore.
Absolutely. So yeah, there's never money in the cure, only in the research. So with this, I mean, and that's been the cancer slogan, should be the number one slogan for the last 50 years. But the fact really remains that these people that's jumping on this bandwagon, financially it makes sense, because it's going to be the next biggest boom of the supplement market. And I know that I called it the supplement market.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be the next big boom. It was like when you could, in the early 80s and 90s, mid 80s to 90s, you only had one or two vitamin stores. Not even you had one or two vitamin stores.
Yeah.
And then you had the one shop where the muscle heads went. That was it. But the moment the magic pill became available, which is whatever the latest thing was that got commercialized, you started seeing corporations like GNC and all these other just exploding all over the place, private shops exploding.
Okay.
Because now you could just, whatever with the prettiest color was on the shelf, that's what you bought, because you didn't really understand it. You didn't know what you were getting. Whoever was working behind that desk, because he did 25 push-ups and he was swollen that day, he became the guru and offered you the one that was going to get
on Instagram, or a pretty girl,
yeah.
right? I mean, we know
all
how
I
it
did
goes.
was we transitioned from brick and mortar to online. A lot of those influencers are steroided to the gills, and not the corticosteroids. We're talking anabolics, and they're telling you that, well, did this because I'm using this product. You got to be smarter than that.
Another reason why I'm skeptical is you have brilliant marketing around this, right? And anytime there's great marketing, I get extra skeptical.
Okay.
So I'll go back to it. During COVID, people were super skeptical about injections, pharmaceutical recommendations, doctors' orders, etc. When everybody said, get the vaccine, get the vaccine.
Okay, that's the vaccine.
Hold on. I'm not done yet.
Vaccine.
Hold on. So now you've got people voluntarily injecting themselves weekly or monthly or daily in a lot of cases, or weekly and daily if they're I know people that are taking three different peptide injections.
I did.
Okay. And yours was recovery from surgery, if I remember right. So, you took it for a specific purpose for a short period of time.
No, for a long period.
For a long period. Well, how long is a long period of
over
time?
A year.
Over a year.
Over a year. And if I had more right now, I'd use it again. because it helped to support the science behind it. Stated that it helps to support and continue to maintain, like the retatrutide. The retatrutide is that also it acts as a GLP-1, but it also does healing as opposed to just
but it's also making stomach paralysis happen. It's also making stomach issues, diarrhea, vomiting. I know people that are on it that are having these problems. So I'm not making this up at it. This is not from Cousin Chad. This is from real life experience.
I get it. And I say dosage and whatever they're eating. Because, hey, listen, if it's going to keep you fuller longer, that means you can't eat as much. You're probably trying to either finish your plate, or you're eating the wrong stuff first.
Well, how did that research work out for that other drug that you talked about in the 80s and 90s? Epinephrine? What was it called?
Oh, no. Fen-Phen.
Fen-Phen.
Yeah.
So how did that work out long term? Because the research back in the 90s said it was the greatest thing in the world.
I don't know if they even had research on it, but it came out and it was great. People was dropping weight like a crack fiend. But the flip side to that is that we did get an ephedrine that hit the market that became legal. And so from that, they did find a supplement that would work. It was one of my favorites to get lean and stay lean. Back then, it was one of my favorites. It just got abused because people started combining it with cocaine. And why would you ever want to do something like that? And so they wound up having to take it off the market and reduce it so you can still find ephedrine out there, but only in 5 milligram capsules. Back then, they were selling them in 25 and 50s, which were hella effective, for staying lean. Back in the early 90s, man, was my favorite. That was my favorite. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So 5 years, I'll get back to it one more time. 5 years ago, people said, do not tell me what to put in my body. It's my own choice whether I want to take your shots or not.
Right.
Now people are lining up to buy their needles and do it themselves. What changed?
Well, nothing has changed. But here's the difference. When you're telling me that I'm doing something that's going to change my physical composition for the positive, I'm more easily to buy that than for you telling me some mystery code is going to wipe out the earth type situation with that kind of situation. And now, if you want to go scientific, I don't know if Cousin talked about that.
Go ahead.
But the peptides have been in research for a long time.
What if they have graphene oxide and heavy metals and all the other crap, aluminum and all the other stuff that people are like, I don't want that in my body?
These things have been researched for a lot longer than COVID.
Okay.
So, and when you started to see what was in them on the COVID side, it made people very skeptical because again, the shots I took in 1971 are drastically different than the babies that took them in 1991. But it was also much more drastic than they took in 1951.
Okay.
But these people are still alive. So you mean to tell me that those people that took the vaccines in 1951, they were short on vaccines? They're still alive.
Okay, I'll concede
and still
to
functional
that
and healthy. Why in the hell do we need all of these other vaccines? And my only argument, and even the one we had before about these sorry-ass vaccines, is why do we have to give them in one big-ass cocktail to an 8-pound baby? Okay, why do we overloading these babies with this? Hey, look, don't do that. So now they're taking 100% more, maybe more than 100% more vaccines.
Yeah, it went from like 7 to 58 or something.
So now
crazy.
you're taking a ridiculous amount of number of vaccines, and now you want to jam it in 1 or 2 shots to this baby. Come on, man, that's cruel and unusual punishment. Just looking at the way the mental health of kids have changed over the last 30 years. We didn't even know what ADHD was. We had no idea what any of these issues were back then. Now it's gotten so widespread. Like I told you before, they got to integrate them into the regular classroom. So there has to be something, and we can't say that was the one thing, but that's the one thing that happened across the country that you can absolutely pinpoint.
Well, you could point to food. You could point to poison in the water. You could point to poison in the air. You could point to other things.
And that's why we can't say it's one thing directly.
Right, of course. So at what point do we say we've stopped improving humans and now we're engineering them?
When did we say we was improving humans?
I mean, we're improving their physical composition, right? That's the whole point of most of BPC and retatrutide and GLP-1s and all the other stuff. You're improving your physical composition.
Okay.
That's what you just said.
Okay, I did say that.
I know you did. I listened to you.
Okay, so corporations are interested in making money. So
not in dispute.
That we're talking about what the medication itself does or the supplement itself does. That's an individual thing. And just like you're going to have a lot of these people that take these medications just blindly, and they're going to look like Skeletor because all they're interested in is losing weight. And I've seen that with the bone density, mass loss, the muscle loss, especially in women, it has become detrimental. But I then turn around and point the finger strongly at that practitioner who issued them that prescription to get these drugs without monitoring their bone density and their muscle loss or gain.
Fair, but it's not a physician's fault if you order the GLP-3 online and start injecting yourself every week. You did it without a physician.
I'm not. First of all, I didn't even address that.
Okay.
I said the physician.
I get it.
So therefore, I'm not even addressing.
But you don't need the physician anymore.
But I'm saying that I'm not buying shit offline. I'm not. That's dumb.
I'm not talking about you.
I'm not. No. Well, no. I'm just saying.
There's millions of people.
But there are millions of people that's doing it because TikTok said it was safe.
Okay.
And man, I'm telling you,
we know we can trust the internet because everything on there is true.
Everything.
Yeah, obviously.
If it comes with a pretty face or a muscular body, you're going to buy that hook, line, and sinker. And that's what's causing these people to make these decisions out here. But if you're going to take a GLP-1 and you're not going to do it through a doctor, obviously that's not a smart move. Even though that doctor may or may not be as educated as far as how to protect yourself. And I just had a friend recently diagnosed with hypertension, and he got his medications and he took the meds. And I said, did you look the meds up? Did you see how they counteract with each other?
No.
Versus anything else? No, man, the doc gave them to me, told me to take them. So you're already on other meds from another doctor. He gave you two. Well, no, that's willingly being ignorant.
Okay.
And so I'm saying every drug has a purpose. If my blood pressure right now was 220 over 150, I'd take that pill right here, right now, because it's going to save me right now. Right now, my job is then to do what I need to do to get off of it. But until then, immediate life-saving, I'm going to take that medication because it's going to drop my blood pressure. Or you're going to just put 2,000 milligram bags of salt in my arms and my blood pressure will dramatically drop.
I'm not saying that it's wrong for everybody. I'm saying it's wrong for millions of people to be taking these drugs irresponsibly off of the internet.
Hell yeah. Well, but again, what's the difference? You got kids that can buy vape pens online. You got kids that can, because they got a little box you check and say, I'm 18.
Yeah, of course.
So, and I never forget the first time I smelled a pen filled with marijuana oil. And I was like, hey, the hell is that? And I'm like, well, they're not manufacturing that. Then you come to find out that they're ordering it from overseas. And I'm like, man, you trust that? But again, if it comes in the package, you pay for it online, people have nothing but blind
You
trust.
don't even have to buy it online. There's a smoke shop on every corner across from another smoke shop.
But back then it wasn't. But even with that, even at a smoke shop, these people are just buying products and selling it to you. They're not creating it in the back. There's no scientist in the back of the smoke shop. And if it is, would you really trust that guy?
No, there's usually a girl who's really high selling you stuff.
That's my point.
Recommendations. Or a guy.
So, but either way, my whole, it's willing. In the 80s and 90s, you would never have put your kid in the car with a stranger. Stranger danger. Now kids have their own Uber account. A different person comes and pick your child up and drive them anywhere they want to go. You don't know these people.
Well, or if you're in California, a machine does it, right? You said you got in one that didn't have a driver.
At least there's no stranger danger in there. There's no physical, no person stranger danger. Now I'm fighting the robot. That's a whole different fight. But I'm just saying, look at. And I'm picking on GNC, but they are notorious because I want to say they carry maybe 4 or 5 items that are considered proven to work, that have been proven by the almighty FDA to work. Everything else has to be labeled as basically an experimental supplement. And up to, because there's only, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, the glutamine worked, proven, creatine, and certain protein powders have been proven to do exactly what they said. And again, the certain protein powders.
Well, it's crazy to me.
But there's all of these other things that are in the stores that, because they have some pretty packaging and some great marketing, we go, oh. And then the big guy or the cute girl says, yeah, no, this is what I take. And you're like, oh, shit, that's...
Well, that's been going on since before we were kids, even though. Sex sells. It's marketing 101. We talked about it with Ray.
Marketing 101.
I mean, it's in there. So it's not a secret. It still works anyway.
But when it comes down to this stuff that's coming out now, I listen. It took me a minute when I first got my first round of BPC 157 and TB 500. It took me a minute, but I did as much research as I physically could, including reading studies. Studies are horribly boring to read. They are terribly boring to read. And 25% of them you hardly won't even understand unless you are really into that level of research. But I did the best that I could, but at the same time, I had to make that ultimate decision that I was going to inject myself with these 2 injections. Ultimately, I'm glad I did because I healed so much faster. Okay. I got back out there. That's the one they refer to as the Wolverine series. Yeah. And for me, if it's from a reputable company, I'm going to use it.
So then why are none of these peptide companies coming on the podcast? Because I invited all 3 of them and nobody wants to do it. What's up with that?
They're not going to do it, but I got a peptide doctor that's going to come on.
Okay, good. So all right, because I got questions.
Yeah, and he's going to have answers.
I like that.
And so we're going to be able to address that directly. I'll tell you why the companies won't come on. It's very simple. They're just selling shit. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. Money. They're making money. Hey, listen, man, right now, I don't know anything, but I can sell this and I'll be happy to make money. I don't know where it was made, but I can get it for you and I can engrave it and sell it to you right now.
I know where it was made.
There you go.
All right.
But
so,
I don't.
I know.
But I would still take
I
that
get it.
money.
Okay.
That's why these these store owners won't come on here.
Okay.
Or to any
Good. I want the
situation.
doctor. Let's get that guy
So
on
we're gonna
tomorrow.
get a doctor on. A very good friend of mine. That's exactly what he does. Travels the world talking to other.
That's the guy we
people.
need. That's who I want.
This
All
is
right, good.
this is my authority on these peptide drugs and where it is in the stages of passing. And here's a good marketing ploy that I've heard out there online. Hey, look, it's in the last phase of becoming FDA certified. You better get it now, because once it gets approved, the price is going to triple, and which probably is true. And so they're like, hey, get it now, stack up now, because you're going to be able to save that money.
I see the argument. I mean, that's a dollars and cents argument. If you're going to buy it now. I understand that.
And, but that's something they're hitting at your emotional and your financial heartstrings. So, but you're still not buying anything that they say is approved. And again, this is us doing the air quotes for people on Spotify. I'm air quoting every time you hear me say FDA, because they deserve air quotes.
Well, I'm going to make my closing argument, and then you can say whatever you want. So my thing is, if the price of being skinny is nausea, diarrhea, stomach paralysis, decreased desire, and sometimes decreased sexual desire desire in your partner.
No.
Oh yeah, it's out there.
No, that just means you don't like that motherfucker.
Okay, fine.
No.
Or a sluggish stomach, or whatever the other side effects are, and dependence on a weekly injection to make you less crave the addictive foods that they're pouring down your throat. We're not actually getting healthier, we're just getting lighter.
Okay, if that's how you're going to leave it on a general statement,
that's all I got.
I'm going to put it and say that side effects come with anything. Anything you eat, anything you drink has a side effect. The difference is now you have these chemical compounds that, hell, we talked about it before, where you're going to be advertising to have this wonderful drug that's going to heal one thing, but as the ladies tripsing through the daisy fields, they run off 175 things that up to and including death as a side effect. These are on television. So
I wouldn't take that shit either.
But again, I get it, but I'm saying it becomes a personal choice. Just don't blindly accept what your doctor says. They send you out of there with a script. Make them, and I know insurance says that they can only be with you for 3 to 4 minutes, but you make them explain to you how it's going to affect you, what's the best way to take it, and make sure you tell them everything else that you're on, so you can figure out how to make sure that one doesn't counteract another. And then when you get home, you go online, because there's so many other websites that will tell you what medicines contradict each other. That's just on general meds. On something like this, again, you got to make a decision. Am I going to die on a shotgun, or am I going to die from a BB gun? If you are an obese person and you are living an unhealthy life, I'm going to suggest to you, and you're older and you feel like you've tried everything, and you just have to admit, like he said, you're addicted to the legal foods that they've been selling you. Go ahead and take the damn shots. Get the weight off your back, but do it smartly. Make sure you prioritize weight training. Don't worry about all that cardio, because it's going to happen on its own. But prioritize weight training. Take your creatine, monohydrate, and make sure you prioritize protein. Get the weight off your back. Live your life. So if it's going to kill you a little bit early, at least you die from a BB gun instead of a shotgun, because you ain't going to see the next 5 years carrying around.
My last statement may not age well, because your doc may come on and answer all my questions, and I may change my mind.
Okay.
But as for right now, I'm going to say don't take that shit. Get on the carnivore challenge with the twins. Get on the keto challenge with the twins, and do it naturally. You still got to do the weight training. You still got to keep active, but you can do it without the drugs. That's my statement of the day. I'm done.
And I'm going to back that up, because I agree with you. You can do it, but you did use a very strong word. You said they're addicted.
Okay.
When you're addicted, you need to go to rehab. Only food rehabs I know are called fat camps. And The Biggest Loser, that didn't work out too well.
All right.
But they still have fat camps out there. They're just hella expensive. But food is an addiction, especially the foods that they've been telling you are good for you and legal. So yes, making that lifestyle change will make it easier for you. And okay, I'll leave it with this. Even if you make the decision to do the peptides or do the GLPs, do whatever it is, it shouldn't be a lifelong decision that you're making. Set your time period, set your goal, but you have to develop the habits that's going to allow you to live without that drug.
Well, let's do this then. Let's close it on this. If you agree with Drew, put Drew in the comments. If you think Vince is right, put Vince in the comments.
That's it, baby.
And that's it. We're going to have health coaches run our blood on an upcoming show, so we'll get a lot more information there. We're going to have Vince's doc come on and give us a lot more information on peptides, so stay tuned. Make sure you follow us.
A lot of good stuff coming. We got a lot of good content coming. That's basically what he's trying to say.
That's what I'm saying.
We got a lot of good content coming. Make sure that you do me that favor that I asked you in the beginning. Reach down, click the subscribe button, and then if you want to really be nice, go ahead and click share and send it to everybody that you think might enjoy this content. And that's all I got for you.
Well, just because Vince and I disagree doesn't mean we're going to get in a fight off camera either. We're still brothers. We're still friends. Everything's cool. We just didn't agree today. Yeah. So if you want to see us not agree more, tell us you want us to not agree more and we will. But on that note, from the Twin Cave at Winners Award Group, Podcast Twins are out.
Peace.